Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, and indeed Meridian Port Services MPS. The show is proudly powered by the Ghana Port and Harbours Authority-GPHA. The show is streaming live on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are streaming live at Ghana Port and Harbours Authority. Ghana Port and Harbours Authority. And still on Facebook, we are streaming live at Port of Tema. On YouTube, we are streaming live at Eye on Port Ghana. Indeed, our media partner on this journey of a lifetime is the Business and Financial Times, the BNFT. Now, if you want to have a grasp of all the transpired in the show tonight, make a date and grab a Thursday edition of the BNFT, and you'll be able to see all that happened here on the show tonight. And we shall be getting interactive with you as usual. And so what you have to do is send us your messages and comments ahead via our dedicated WhatsApp line, 0559-019-177, 0559-019-177. Now, when the time is ripe, and I pick signals from my production team, we shall activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. My name is Kennedy Mona. We are going for a quick break. When we bounce back, we'll continue the show. Please stay with us.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the IC covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance
for the project, and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
All right, so we have to go now for some happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week. And in the course of the week, the Ghana Shippers Authority had cause to assemble some stakeholders to engage them on how to avoid demurrage, container demurrage charges in the ports. Plus the fact that the Customs Brokers Association of Ghana, QBAG, also met the top 30 CEOs in the shipping sector. And the board chairperson of the GPHA Provident Fund and Pensions Fund, Madam Sapati, has stepped down after 11 years of dedicated service. Now, at the ceremony to hand over to a new team, she urged the preservation of the fund. Let's take a look at these stories and more.
The Ghana Shippers Authority has once again brought together shippers and stakeholders within the shipping sector to drum home the need to avoid demurrage during the importation of cargo. Indeed, the authority has in recent years embarked on a vibrant nationwide campaign to make it common knowledge that demurrage fees are avoidable, and when avoided, Ghanaian traders can gain a competitive advantage, save money, and cause a reduction in consumer prices.
If we do not do our best to avoid demurrage payment, be the importer, customs, and other participating agencies, if we do not do our best, we will go to the market and the cost of items, we are all going to bear it.
At this year's How to Avoid Demurrage seminar, participants were drawn from ministries, departments and agencies, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Association of Ghana Industries, the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Ghana Chamber of Mines, among others. Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Benonetta Bismarck, in a speech read on her behalf, revealed that state-owned agencies contribute massively to demurrage, duties and rent fees owed at the ports of Ghana.
49 containers have spent over 2,000 days at the port. 116 containers have spent between 1,000 and 199 days at the port. 78 containers, between 500 and 999 days. 205 containers have spent between 100 and 499 days. And 60 containers up to 99 days. Ladies and gentlemen, if we calculate this by the dollar rate, you can imagine how much the nation is losing.
Taking his turn, Deputy Commissioner in charge of suspense regimes at the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Emmanuel Hene, said tremendous innovations introduced in the clearance process should be taken advantage of and the avoidance of demurrage.
There has been tremendous innovation in the cargo clearance platforms from the times of GUTA to the GCMS and now to ICOMS. In today's world, where knowledge and the search for the best ways of doing things with cutting-edge technology has become a sine qua non for the survival of organizations, shippers must make the needed adjustments that guarantee their survival in their highly competitive business environment.
The Customs Brokers Association Ghana, QBAG, has organized its maiden CEOs luncheon in Tema to afford the association's members the opportunity to have high-level engagements among themselves and industry captains. The semi-formal event saw QBAG engage management of logistics companies, customs authorities, regulatory agencies, and media on contemporary challenges in their trade. The meeting was also used to inform stakeholders of the mobile app the association will be rolling out to facilitate the association's activities.
But this time we want to have a mobile app to engage everybody, the association, on a regular basis, while also increasing the value of the association.
The acting president of the Interim National Executive Committee of QBAG, Nana Fredua Ajimano Foriata, said the association will continue to foster strong collaborations that would move the industry in the right direction.
Where discussions will lead to important decisions that will point the industry in a certain direction or another, and or help shape or influence government policy. It is intended to improve our industrial relations between regulators and the regulated.
The Chief Executive Officer of Meridian Port Services, Mohammed Samara, emphasized the significance of information technology in the shipping and logistics sector.
If we can use an app on a mobile phone, if we can actually use WhatsApp, then we are good to use the biggest system there be in that. And I really encourage you to talk to our IT support and IT team so we can integrate you into our system and we will bring you into the ecosystem.
Assistant Commissioner in charge of the Tema Sector Command of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Awiya Julius Cantum, emphasized the importance of compliance and the attainment of revenue targets.
Our revenue is important for us. So compliance, if you can help us to comply and then to pay the appropriate taxes and revenue, that will be okay.
The Executive Director of Ghana's Environmental Protection Agency, Dr. Henry Kwabena Kokofo, also said his outfit is working assiduously to ensure challenges associated with access to permits and approvals are solved.
We intend to establish a permanent desk at the various ports to provide support services quickly to resolve some of these issues. And I must say, in times past, we did have our officers on the ground to do check-ins and all that. Until some time passed that they were withdrawn. Our administration intends to bring them back.
The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority Board of Trustees for its Provident and Pensions Fund has bid farewell to Mausi Sapati and Samuel Ening, who are retiring from their roles as chairperson and independent trustee of the board, respectively. GPHA's Provident and Pensions Fund was created to guarantee the security of employee earnings after retirement. These two individuals have for 11 years led the board in protecting the interest of GPHA in the management of the pensions fund of the staff of the authority. According to well-wishers at the send-off ceremony, the outgoing individuals were consummate professionals who exuded class and integrity in the conduct of their duties. Samuel Ening, the outgoing independent trustee, encouraged stakeholders to rely on teamwork in achieving results.
But let me plead with the board. Engagement and consistent communication with your stakeholders is fundamental to your success, because there is a lot of misinformation out there, and it's important that you continue to engage and let them know what the reality is.
Mausi Sapati, who doubles as the General Manager Finance of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, expressed satisfaction with how the fund has been managed so far.
For the staff, they should know that pension fund is for their interest. So they need to uphold it. It is your better tomorrow when you are off routine income. That is what will support you.
Tibon Zuma, who takes over from Mausi Sapati as chairman of the board, said he and his team will take off from where his predecessor left off by preserving value.
The board of trustees, we have a structure, and there are laid down procedures by which we will engage stakeholders. So that comes in the form of debates and even one-on-one discussions with the pensions administrator and all that. So we intend to intensify that, particularly in this era of misconceptions all over the place.
Efri Yowari, co-founder and chief executive officer of Access Pensions Trust Limited, one of the service providers managing the pensions fund, said his outfit will continue to work closely with the board to achieve the objectives of the authority for the fund.
And so the safeguards around pensions management is pretty robust, and anybody who has his funds in a pension scheme can be rest assured that the funds are protected from any form of abuses.
All right, so those were happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week. It's now time for us to go for the word or phrase of the day. And remember, the phrase or word of the day is brought to you so that we can bring you up to speed with the terminologies and jargons we use in the shipping industry. Today's word is Aframax tanker. Aframax tanker.
Aframax tanker. Aframax tankers refer to one category of tankers. Aframax tankers were initiated because of the size constraints that were posed when large oil tankers entered sea routes highly prone to traffic. Aframax tankers weigh generally around or less than 120,000 deadweight tons. The name Aframax comes from the Average Freight Rate Assessment System, also known as AFRA.
All right, so you're welcome back. It's now time for us to zoom into our discussion proper tonight. Tonight we have two discussions, one centered on GUTA, the other centered on demurrage and the freight forwarders. And so we are beginning our discussion with the GUTA story. Indeed, you would have heard in the course of the week that the Ghana Union of Traders Association had closed their shops, and they were directed by the leadership to do so across the country. They actually did. And we also heard later on that they had engaged government and had resolved the impasse and that they were returning to their shops to continue business. Now, what necessitated this? We know that they were protesting against the fall of the Ghana cedi, and so perhaps that has hindered their business and hampered the kind of profits perhaps that they would have wanted to make. And I think that this got them to engage government, and they arrived at kind of like a middle grounds. And so we have the pleasure of introducing to you tonight the president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obeng, to help us appreciate what the issues are and how they were able to get government to address their challenge. Now, we're supposed to be joined in this discussion by the Deputy Trade Minister, the Honorable Michael Oshribefi. He gave all indication that he was going to join us. My production team is doing all they can to get him. When we get him on the line, we shall bring him into the discussion. But let me say a welcome to Dr. Obeng. Sir.
Thank you.
Good to have you in the studios.
Thank you so much.
We know you are tired. You have to oblige us. We are grateful, sir.
We have to do that.
Absolutely. Now, first of all, I want you to tell us why you directed your membership to close their shops in the course of the week.
We did not direct our members. They called that they cannot bear it again.
Okay,
And
so
that-
you did not call, but they called.
Yeah.
But if you had impressed upon them, perhaps they wouldn't have closed the shops.
Oh, no, because if you understand and appreciate, because don't forget that we, the leadership of GUTA, are also serious business people. So we understand the plight.
Right.
So we are not disassociated from the problems that is going on with our members. So we couldn't have told them not to do anything whilst we are also feeling the heat. Because you know that everybody know that there's a problem. The exchange rate, with the interest rate and with inflation. Everybody is aware of that. But we feel the brand more. We suffer the brand more. Because at the market, we are the receiving end. We transact in the dollar itself, and we know that is consuming our capitals. All the three indicators that made a business thrives, that's the inflation, the forex, and then interest rates have all broken down. And once our capital has been eroded by over, as I'm speaking, it has been eroded close to about 60%.
Okay.
I've done this illustration so many times, so I don't have to
How
repeat
come?
it again. Yeah, because I told you, if you started the year with 620,000 Ghana cedis as your capital,
Yes.
and you were buying the dollar for 6.2, you were able to buy $100,000. Now, as I'm speaking, if the dollar is even 14 Ghana cedis, but I know it has gone past that. If it is 14 Ghana cedis, you are buying dollar for 44,000. So a huge amount of 56,000 have been spirited away from your capital. This is how serious it is. This is how serious it is. You are unable to do anything. If this money is a borrowed one, the capital that I'm talking is a borrowed one, then you have to contend with interest payment of about over 35%. That will take per annum. It will take about over 240,000 Ghana cedis from this capital. You are left with nothing, and that's how serious it is. And you know, everybody is aware of this, and we know better. And it is true. We've gone for so many meetings, and let's not confuse the issues. That's why the Deputy Minister of Trade was emphasizing that they've made some concessions. Yes, they've made some concessions in other areas like the VAT and like pegging the dollar for the purposes of payment of duty. and then stopping the invigilation by the tax officials. That is a different thing altogether. What we are talking about is the fact that our capitals are being eroded by the effects of the foreign exchange, by the effects of inflation, and by the effect of the interest rate to our loans. That's why we said that, okay, let's make a statement and then let the authorities know, give a pinch to the government to know how urgent it is that they should look into this situation and also provoke national discourse. As you are aware, we have been able to provoke
national discourse on how to preserve the city.
Yes, yes, it's all our responsibility to do that. Find a way and prefer workable solutions for all of us, not only for traders. And that was one. And then we are also trying to communicate to our consuming public that we are not the cause of price hikes.
But who is?
The exchange rate. The exchange rate, which is flying. The interest rate that I'm paying, over 35%. The inflation that is eating into their purchasing power. That is the cost, not me. When inflation goes up, I know most times you deliberately give me a punch. Because you know that these are the effects. These are the things that is making the highs. And it's not us. It is for this reason that we have to let the consuming public, because otherwise the discourse sometimes that goes on, the national TV and all that, everybody trying to say that the trader is taking advantage of the situation is unfair to the trader. And they are inciting hatred from the public to us. And so, having come to tell us sorry, make the calculations, and everybody understood, then it's also going to occur well for all of us. Because, you know, inflation has consumed all the purchasing power of our customers, and it is unfair. Whenever prices go up, then we are in trouble. Those who do not understand trading will say that we take advantage. No, when prices go up, what it means is that the consumer's purchasing power has gone down. And so he's unable to buy the quantities that he was able to buy. A business thrives on turnover. So when their purchases go down, it means that we are unable to sell much as we could do to pay our indebtedness to the bank and also service our external credit. At this stage, you are very your credibility is at stake. So it is not true. Otherwise, anybody who would do that doesn't know what trading is. In any case, in the market, there are so many of us. One cannot overprice himself out of the competition. And so it is so simplistic for somebody to say that. And then the third reason that we are back on this closure is the fact that we have to communicate with our suppliers who give us credit. We have suppliers credit by virtue of the fact that we have been trading with our suppliers for some time. They now have confidence, give us credit and all that. And now we are unable to service in time.
Right.
Because you have to find more cities to be able to get simple $10,000. So if you owe that much, it's very difficult to even get the money to pay. So we did this so that the communication will go out there, the whole world. And we did it, and we pronounced it very well. All the national media and all the international media came here, and we talked with them. Our suppliers have started calling, why is it that you've closed? And we explained that we are having challenge with the forest and all that, so that they can even reschedule our payment when the due day reaches. And so we did not do this out of any ulterior motive, but for our own good, for the good of our consuming public, so that they can have some respite. That when the exchange rate stabilizes, they can also up their purchasing power, and then it will help all of us. So what we've done, we've done it, and we sacrifice ourselves to provoke this national discourse so that we know that there's a sense of urgency in this foreign exchange issue, so that when there's a solution, it will help the generality of Ghanaians and not the trading community alone.
All right. Doc, we appreciate the fact that, yes, Ghana is reeling under serious economic challenges at the moment. Government is trying to remedy or ameliorate the situation. But we also appreciate the fact that this is a global phenomenon, and Ghana's case is not peculiar. And so I think that, don't you think that it would have been prudent for you to be measured in your call for your members to close the shops so as to provoke government to take the steps it has taken?
Yeah, and this is measured. We didn't take placards. We didn't go and burn ties. We didn't do anything untoward. We just closed our shops to the detriment of our very selves. And so it was measured with civility. That goes with it. Have you seen this before? That people are not happy about some economic hardship or something. Even in the advanced nations, you see them holding placards, demurraging things and all that. And look at the Ghanaian businessman. He says that, look at the one that went on in Kumasi. Nothing happened to anybody. They just closed their shop, sat at home, and reflected on their businesses. And so it was very measured, and we did it in civility and in dignity. And it's so dignified, so that somebody should give up something for the cause of nationhood, and we should be applauded on that.
Because there are those who argue that it wasn't necessary actually for the shops to be closed.
It's up to them. So look at the serious business communities, serious business people who close their shops. For them, it's warranted. For them, it's prudent, so that you let the authorities know the extent of suffering, so that they can shape up or they can do something with urgency, sense of urgency. That's all that the serious business people who close their shops were telling you. So look at the number of people who close their shops as against the few people who will say that it's not necessary. No, the people spoke. And they are very intelligent people, well-resourced people, elderly people, who knows better what they were doing.
Take it easy, Doc. Take it easy.
And so it was not that it was not warranted. It was very warranted, because your capital is at stake and is being consumed, being spirited away.
In your earlier submission, you seem to suggest that pegging the dollar, for 3 months at the ports for the purposes of duty payment is not a panacea to this whole thing. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, but it will help us. It is a very good, and we thank the trade minister and the deputy finance minister for understanding this issue. You know that the other time I came here because of that. You remember? You called me the other time and we discussed this issue. Because as the dollar is going up, as the foreign exchange is going up, and there's no end in sight, this is the only way that we can do to bring some respite for the trading community. And so it's good. And we actually thank them. These are some of the things, and that we do some of the things that we did. If the Kumasi people have not done that, and that we are not going to sustain it, we couldn't have seen this, because we have talked about this so many times. And so those who are saying that it doesn't warrant, see the result, some of the results that has come out of our actions. So it is very important that we did what we did. And it's going to help all of us.
Have you signed any document, and for instance, an MOU, to government would see to it that indeed the dollar is pegged, for purposes of duty payment and all that?
Yeah.
Has it been concretized?
So let me take advantage to clear an issue. When we went for this meeting, and then government have proposed this, and that they are going to do this, it was an assurance, because the Commissioner General himself was also sitting in this meeting. So all that matter in this issue were there. And then it was said that it should be between us. That's true. But I wasn't there alone in this meeting. This is a meeting that about over 100 of us were in the same conference room. You know that tiny conference room at the Ministry of Trade.
Yes.
And if about 100 people were there. So it was just like a public announcement.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And also the fact that we have confidence in government and we trust government that when they issue an assurance, it is a factual statement, and that there's no kind of this thing. So having come out shouldn't be any problem for anybody, because in the first place, the people who were in that room alone were public, and so it was in the public domain.
Right.
It's not something that it could have been done. And we are very happy and we appreciate the Trade Minister, Honorable Alan Chamatin, have done marvelously well. You see, his Deputy Minister keep on saying that we engage. Yes. In fact, the Trade Ministry is like a home to us. That the Minister, Deputy Minister in charge of trade itself, that's Honorable Dokua.
Okay.
She's like a mother to us. A mother. Alan is a father. And the place is like a home to us. But the only problem that made us do this, because normally anything that they tell us, we just comply and we understand. But this thing was consuming us. And it was well communicated to the Council of State. Right. You know that we had wanted to embark on the demonstration earlier, where the dollar was 10. And so when we went to see Council of State, we told them that now it's 13. By the time you intervened, it was 10. Now even it was 13.5. And at the time you intervened, it was 10. Yeah. So please let us let the world know. And we stated the reasons that I told you, our suppliers, to get in-depth understanding why we are not able to pay them, communicating to our consumers, and then giving a pinch to the government. And then the Deputy Minister was also sitting there with this. Right. And so it was not something that nobody, it was not even in the known. And even about a week earlier, I've sent a clear message to the Ghanaian consuming public that start buying your goods, right, and that we are going to close our shops. So in any case, what is the bad faith here?
Pre-informed them.
Exactly. It's pre-informed. Everybody was in the known that we are going to do this because we are going to tell our story. And we have told our story, and it is so loud and clear and well pronounced, and we are happy about it.
All right. I would want to come to you and find out from you. I mean, you have numerous challenges. We can't state all of them here. But the salient ones that you want us to appreciate, you bring them out. I know you are one person that has also advocated for the government to adopt the yen as, you know, the currency that you traders can use. Why would you say that, and do you still stand by this call for us to use the Chinese currency?
Yes. Coincidentally, we sent about 14 recommendations to government, and the government listened with rapt attention, with enthusiasm, because the points that we have presented was very solid. And President admitted. But having listened, he just took a pen and fenstring one of the points. And incidentally, it is this point that we are raising about the Chinese yen. Yes. He said that he cannot agree with this because it won't work. Yeah. Exactly. And so once the policymakers have seen that it's not a workable thing, that one is out of my mind because they know better than we do. So that one, but we have discussed so many things. I will communicate most of our points to you, and then the Ghanaian, your listening public will know our recommendations.
That was what I was coming to. What recommendations you have for government?
Okay, but I cannot articulate them all. I'm very exhausted, but I can just say what we can do in the very short term. Because most of the things that we also send to government is mainly medium to long term and all that. Because we are talking about the investment laws to be amended so that it will curtail the excessive importation. Because we admitted that the demand of the forest is too much. Right. That includes excessive importation. We have owned our own problem. We have admitted. But we have also said that much as the excessive importation is a problem, we, the locals, like GUTA and us, our share of the total import volume is about 15 to 20% only. Okay. And so it is easy for government to use investment law to redirect the investors who are coming, foreigners who are coming to the trading sector. It's so easy because you use your investment law to tighten and control. And then also you let anybody who, the foreigner who is coming to trade, do not do what we call goods for forest, because they do not bring money here.
Right.
When they get the GPHA certificate, presto, so they start dumping the goods, only the goods, because they do not, the goods is from their country.
Yes.
So they don't have to send money from here. Yeah. So they only bring the goods and then they come and take our forest. So all that they need is to pack this forest. And so what we have said is that you ask them that how much are you bringing? How many containers are you bringing for a year? You say 1,000 containers. How much is this 1,000 containers? $100 million. Okay, bring the $100 million and deposit at Bank of Ghana. Presto. And then you can use it to import your own goods. It will have a burden on our goods. Right. We have to use our investment laws to structure that. And then the same investment laws should also seek to have retention policy, so that government can retain some of the juiciest areas that are all dominated by our foreigners. And then, because we can also say that if you have your 100% repatriation of your profits, your investment law is what is going to guide you. So you can say that even though you have the profit for yourself, you work in Ghana and you get your profit in Ghana. So you have the right to transfer only 70% and maintain and then maintain 30% in the local currency. Right. If you say it's a take it or leave it, it's a take it or leave it.
Right.
It shouldn't be that we are over-pampering foreign direct investment, then they take it all. So this is the retention policy that we're talking about. But if you are to talk about the short-term measures, we only have to find why there's so much demand on the dollar. For instance, we have talked about excessive importation. Yes. Nobody have come to service. The service aspect of this demand of forest is more than look at the communications, look at the banks, and they are all foreign owned, and look at the profits that turns out here. Yeah. And so we said we should look at all these areas and then fashion a policy to retain some of these. Yeah. And then we should make a government should make
effort.
No, we should articulate the government monetary and fiscal policy regarding the solution of this problem, because most of this thing is speculation, and nothing else. As we have reached now, is speculation and panic buying, and people buying the money for as a value for savings, and all that. So what we have to do is to inspire confidence into the system by way of government own pronouncement, giving the timelines, directions, and all that, so that people will know that this is the way we are going, and that we do not have to hold on to the money so that the money can come back. It's speculative. So we have to use speculative measure to counter it. Otherwise, there's nothing that we can do about this thing at this moment.
At this moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was telling you to tell us some of the salient challenges that you think that we must put across to government, even though you've engaged government recently. And also, what assurance would you give to us that we're not going to see any closure of shops again pretty shortly?
Yeah,
anytime soon.
Thank you very much. I was trying to mention something and it escaped me. I was trying to say that government should make a national appeal to the investors, to the nation, the nationals, the citizens, and everybody as regard to our quest for the demand of the dollar. So we can, because now it's not about how much injection that we are going to do into the system. Right. If government brings 3 billion there are some companies that can swallow this money and all that. So we should do an appeal. First, we have to find out where this demand comes from, where the bulk of the demand comes from. Let's appeal to those areas that they should stagger their transfers, they should stagger their demand for this and control them, so that after the time that we have some respite and all that, we can do things as we used to do. So there should be a national appeal in this thing. But now we should be talking to these huge companies and all that, so that we have to prepare the grounds, so that before IMF come, we would have known how to seal where the leakages are, where the demands are, and then be able to sustain whichever amount that is going to be injected. Otherwise, if you do not do this, inspire confidence, government clear, articulating its clear policy directions as by times and all that, so people will know that, oh, by January this thing will be like this, by February this. Like, we have to do these things and to be so pronounced, and people should understand, and then government appealing also to us, the citizens, what he requires from us at this time to do. Because now we don't know, because the other time we have also said that we have to diversify trading. Because the trading as we do, now I think we have to give a pause. And then think about maybe export. Because the trading that we do is trading, the meaning of trading is buying and selling of goods and services. I think we have been doing the buying more. We have to do the selling.
So the need for balance,
we have to start thinking about. Then most of us have been doing the buying, and we do not know what to buy, to sell, and all that. And that's why we are appealing to Ghana Export Promotion Authority to, as matter of urgency, draw some outline, because people are almost fed up with the import business, the trading, and that they want to diversify. And so we should be given the information that these goods are sold in these destinations, and these goods are preferred in this is the packing that they want, this is the price that they want, so that we can start using our remaining resources to do something. Otherwise, this trading is consuming all our money.
Finally, I said you should give us an assurance that you are not going to be closing your shops.
No, we are mature people. How many times have you seen us closing our shops? We wanted to make a statement, and we have made a loud statement. And so what we've done is a statement, and it's so profound. And that government have seen, the people of Ghana have seen it. Now we are fortunate that the whole overlord of the Ghana state called us and said that we have listened to you. It means that it has gone well, even to our traditional leaders. Don't forget that even the one that we did in Kumasi, that my affiliate association, Ashanti Business Owners Association, did in Kumasi, that Santimi Hima also came in. It means that they've started listening to us. It means that our cries are being heard. If we have sat down, they wouldn't have heard it. So the overlord listened. And then the president of the state also said that we know the problem that is going on. He has sat with that for almost 2 hours, discussing, not that he is just telling us something, allowing us to pour our frustrations and everything to him, giving our recommendations, having accepted. I told you about 14, he just took one off and said that he push the remaining to the EMT to redress. That's why my people said that we said that the committee going to be said no, that they are pushing to EMT, and definitely we will be called to EMT maybe if we have to address some of these things, and then factor it in the IMF thing, the whole thing, and all that. All that we need is a solution. And so once the ultimate person on the land have taken your concerns and giving the assurance that they are actually on course, doing whatever they're doing. They mentioned the IMF, means that everything is tied in up with whatever thing we are doing with IMF, and that we should all have some patience. Then, if the following day you go and close again, it means that you have other motives than a solution. I hope you understand. That's the reason why we called off, to show respect to our traditional leaders, show respect to authority, and then to tell them that despite everything, we still have confidence in them. haven't given us assurance. Because
Absolutely.
if you don't have confidence in leadership, we would have done what we did.
Right.
But we did it because we know our leaders can do something for us.
All right. Thank you very much indeed. Dr. Joseph Wabing is the president of the Ghana Union Association of Traders. We've been discussing their issue with government, which has to do with their protest against the fall of the city. And he says they are satisfied so far with the outcome of their engagements with government, and they are hoping that this would be a panacea to the challenge. And he has given the assurance that they are matured. They are not going to be closing their shops anytime soon. So we take him for his word. We say thank you very much, Doc, for obliging us this evening. And we know you are a part of this team. And so anytime we call on you, you always oblige us. Thank you very much, and
Thank
enjoy
you
your
so
evening.
much,
Viewers, we're going for a quick break. When we bounce back, we'll come your way with our second discussion, which has to do with the demurrage and the perspectives from the freight forwarder fraternity. Please do stay with us.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse. And my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. My goods are on the high seas, covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance. Oh, Ajima, tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the project and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
All right, so you're welcome back. It's now time for us to zoom into our second discussion. And like I said, we're talking demurrage and we're talking how to avoid it From the freight forwarder perspective, and we are privileged to have with us in the studios a member of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, GIF, Mr. Romeo Frimpong, who is co-chairman of the monitoring team at GIF. He joins us, and this discussion comes on the back of stakeholder engagement, I said earlier, organized by the Ghana Shippers Authority to impress home the need for importers and shippers in general to do all they can to reduce the barest minimum demurrage charges that they encounter, they accrue, perhaps due to one or two things that they've not been able to do right. And so we have Mr. Romeo Frimpong here to help us do the discussion. I know you were part of the team that went for that particular stakeholder engagement by the Ghana Shippers Authority, and you actually did make some submissions there and all that. We just want to find out from you how your perspective of how the whole event went, first of all.
Oh, well, let me say good evening to our viewers, and good evening to the freight forwarding fraternity. I think this is the second time we're having that particular sensitization or seminar. We had the first one in Kumasi, and then we did this one in Accra. And looking at the program, the way the questions and then the contributions and the presentations went, it was very good because people really appreciated the fact that we are trying to do our best to avoid demurrage. You know, demurrage is not really comfortable to talk about, but when we bring it on board and it appears we are putting in some arrangement and attempts to, you know, avoid demurrage, then it becomes a very good news to the whole fraternity, to the traders, and then to the country as a whole. So it was all really good.
All right. First of all, I just want us to break it down and explain, help the ordinary person out there watching us appreciate what demurrage is. Those in the shipping business or import business are aware, they know what demurrage is.
Exactly.
I dare say some people are not even aware, who are in the business are not even aware of it. So can you tell us what demurrage is, first of all?
All right. Demurrage, you know, when we went to Kumasi, I mean, when we were about to do a presentation, one man said, hey, demurrage is here, Abuakese.
Yeah.
You know, when we even came to Accra, they were still nicknaming the demurrage Abuakese. You know, demurrage in simple terms, basically for, you know, public consumption, is the charge or cost that is being assessed by the shipping lines for using their containers beyond the allotted time period. Yes. That is basically the definition for demurrage, or the money that the merchant pays to the carrier by using its container beyond the expired period of time. Yes.
Now, I think that you rightly said that demurrage has become a sort of a monster in the eyes of the importer or the shipper.
Exactly.
And sometimes, even to you, the link between the importer and, you know, those operating at the ports, because you are the interface. You represent the importers and all that.
Yeah.
And so I just want to find out from you, how dire is the situation? Is it so big that we should be worried about?
Yes, you know, it is not
in
really...
terms of how people accrue demurrage.
Yes, we should be worried about these demurrage issues because, you see, I said in Kumasi, and then I told him in Accra, that demurrage payment or avoiding demurrage should be, I mean, something that all stakeholders at ports should collaborate effectively, all right, to help avoid demurrage. Why? Because the cascading effects will be upon all of us, all Ghanaians. You know, you saw the way Mr. Albin was so emotional. It is not really comfortable to go for demurrage. I was telling them that there are times where you go for your demurrage invoice, you even have to practically close your eyes and check how much you are going to pay. Right? Already we are going through a lot at ports. So coupled with these demurrage charges, it is not easy. Sometimes you have to go for demurrage charges and you can't even call your importer to tell him. So for the demurrage issue, we should all be concerned and make or do our best to avoid demurrage. Yes.
Now, you are partly to blame for demurrage that accrue to importers because I'm an importer.
Sure.
I engage you.
Sure.
As a freight forwarder, as a customs house agent, to clear my goods for me.
Yeah.
And along the line, I accrue demurrage. How come that you would allow this to happen?
All right. I wouldn't hold brief for all freight forwarders. But what I would say is, you see, the emerging freight forwarder now, about some years ago, the freight forwarder fraternity, specifically gave, we actually developed this 5-year strategic plan in order to upskill our, members to, keep pace with what is going on in the world. All right. What we actually do is we do real-time tracking and tracing, communicate to our importers. All right. We also advise our importers to get their funds ready for payment immediately the vessel arrives.
Right.
Okay. So we as freight forwarders, we do our honest part in terms of avoiding demurrage. And in fact, sometimes when it's so be that demurrage accrues, we write letters and then appeal on behalf of our clients, so for the demurrage to be waived. So, of course, there are times where demurrage actually accrues, but we also do our best as freight forwarders to help mitigate the situation.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So we take a look at this recent stakeholder engagement by the Ghana Shippers Authority.
Sure.
And apparently we are all aware that this has been a long-standing issue, the issue of demurrage
Sure.
and all that, and some of the contributory factors. Are you able to tell us some of the causes?
Yes, the cause of demurrage. One man actually raised up his hand and said that the port stakeholders, most all of them are cause of the demurrage. All right. Recently, we launched our research hub, and then before we launched, we had a paper. All right, and we actually enumerated some number of causes of demurrage. Right, 25% was attributed to the shipping lines.
Right.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
At the heart of this demurrage cause is the count of days, weekends, and then holidays. There are other causes I'm going to mention, but I want you to notice this. We expect that, natural justice had to do with the fact that containers must be placed at the importer's disposal before, if there is any count to done, it needs to be done. But these shipping lines actually begins counting of the days when the container arrives instead of the discharge date, which actually accrues demurrage. If you count it right before you make the container available to the importer, when my money is ready, I go to the terminal to clear, and I'm told that the container is not ready, so I have to go and come back. I can't clear. So why do you have to begin the count on that particular ETA instead of counting it after discharge? Right? That is number one. Number two, with regards to the weekends, you see, somewhere in 2018, 2020, 2021, the EMT chairman, all right, he launched this investigation into the port and fees.
The EMT chairman?
Dr. Bahomia, yes. All right. The cost of doing business in Ghana was so high that he asked us to do investigations on it. And then we realized that demurrage is part of the cost, of the rising cost of doing business in Ghana. Okay, so we decided that we have to look into it to make sure all these payments are not done. Now, if we do not really check the weekends, that we have been hammering it, because in that report, it was recommended that weekends are not supposed to be charged because these shipping lines do not work on weekends. In fact, now that we are doing digitization, you sometimes launch onto their platform and you see today is weekend, we are not working. Meanwhile, they are charging.
They are counting, the days
Yes,
are counting.
they sometimes argue that they open their offices, we do not come. But the fact is, if you open your office online, why should you close it? Because in any case, you are charging. So we have the view that the weekends that they are not working must be scrapped. Right? Now, holidays. Okay? The holidays that we talk about, I think the next holiday is somewhere in December 2nd. All right? Now, prior to that, we receive communique from the ministry that it's going to be a holiday, so we all are supposed to do what? Observe the holiday. Now, if the laws of the states says we should observe the holidays, why then you have to charge me demurrage? It doesn't make business sense, excuse me to say. And so we have advocated that the holidays aspect in that bit of invoice should be scrapped. No, it is not really good for us, because come to think of it, Mr. Ken, when it's on Easter holiday, all right, Easter Friday, the Saturday, the Sunday, the Monday, 4 days we are talking about. We are not working. So if you should slap the trader with all these amounts, then you are collapsing the business, like Mr. Obin said. All right? Yes. Now, MPS is working on, 24 hours. So if you shipping lines are not working, then we don't expect that you charge on these holidays and then weekends. Now, also, the last time we had a seminar, we appealed to the chairman of the ICOMs that they should decouple payment of duties with our release processes.
Okay.
Now, this is what it means. Back in the days where we pay duty, we print out the copies, take it to the shipping line for them to check whether it has been paid. But now, no. Just at the click, because, Ghana.gov is also, used for duty payments. The moment you pay, if I'm paying the duty for you, you will see it on your phone. I will see it on my phone. In fact, I'm sure GRA, Ministry of Finance, they are all notified. So this notification is being done in the system that they have deployed. They don't need the shipping lines to confirm this payment to them. Because actually, when you do it like that, when you pay your duty, maybe somewhere on Friday evening, they are not working on Saturday. So you will not be able to work on Saturday and then Sunday. But if you don't have, if we decouple it from the payment, you can go to the shipping line, make your payment, and then get your release done. Anytime you want to pay your duty, when you are working at some of the terminals, we are working weekends and then, 24/7, you can go ahead and then make your payments and then release your cargo and then you move. And we believe that when some of these loopholes are being blocked, we are going to reduce the cost of doing business because it is really crippling and dwindling the profits, like the man said. Okay, and then taking huge parts of their capital. If you actually checked and followed, your men were there, the amount of money that goes into demurrage, all right, it is still huge. Talking about $830-something million. No. And so we expect that some of these courses, the weekends, the discounts, the decoupling, and also we have also spoken on the standard of service of these shipping lines. All right, I know you're going to ask this question, but let me just answer this question. I said that demurrage is just to incentivize the cargo interest. All right, to hurriedly retrieve the cargo and return the container. It shouldn't be a punitive measure. Okay, but we realize some of these lines most of these lines are making business models out of this money because they know very well that we are bound by time. So if you go, they say they won't release for you, you are forced to pay the money. This is what we want it to stop. Because if the importer or the trader, attempts to return the container or to pick the box and circumstances beyond control does not allow him or her to do that, you have to suspend the demurrage. That is what the Federal Maritime Commission of America actually advised, that if any attempt is made, that reasonableness that justifies his arrangement to return the container must be accepted, and then you suspend it. It is not only because you think once in demurrage he or she should always be in demurrage. No, some circumstances should be considered for demurrage to be suspended.
All right, so I just want to find out from you. You made mention of the fact that just recently you launched the research hub at GIF.
Yes.
You're also co-chairman of the monitoring team.
Yes.
And I just want to find out from you, apart from the addition to the cost of doing business, what other impacts does this demurrage charge make in terms of the import of doing business?
You see, somewhere in 2019, right, Dr. Baobia, all right, he announced this, 50%, 30%, discount on values, all right? Now, fast forward, we heard some of the consumers saying that they are not even seeing any impact on prices, regardless of the discount that has been given. But this is it. The discount that was, or that intervention by the vice president was made irrelevant because of the fact that these demurrage fees couldn't balance it.
Right.
Hope you understand. So people didn't actually even feel the relevance of that intervention made by the government.
Right.
Hope you understand. Yes. So even as that intervention was made, the demurrage amount that we pay, coupled with the cost of releasing one container, was so much for importers. And of course, like I said earlier on, if you are an importer and then you are slapped with this demurrage fee, you will pass on the amount to the final consumer to pay. So we are all involved. That is why the call has come for each and every one, especially port stakeholders, to make sure that we all come together to avoid demurrage payment by effectively playing our roles well at the ports. Now, it has also actually increased high cost of doing business. I mean, it doesn't really appeal to investors to actually bring their goods in our country. It is so important. Now, Togo, Nigeria, they are all doing their best to refurbish their ports, to attract business. All right? So if we do not do well, the impact is going to be so negative that our import growth will decline. So we should be very, very careful. Now, come to think of it, government actually loses revenue because of demurrage charges.
Right. Why?
I'm saying this because
how?
If indeed I have 10 containers, I can show you some charges here. If I have 10 containers that I'm clearing, okay, at the port, and then my duty, I receive my duty via customs response. Now, you go to the shipping lines and then one container, one box, 40 foot, we are paying 9,451.78 for one box.
9,000. That's just demurrage alone.
No, this is the cost. I mean, one cost.
Yes.
All right? Because I'm going to argue that the cost of releasing containers actually even increase or makes us pay demurrage. So only one. Now, within some few days, this is 4th October 2022. In 17th October 2022, we are paying 10,749.
From 9,000.
Yes, it is not even predictable. I hope you understand. So the impact, like I was saying to government, if I'm clearing 10 containers and you're paying 10,000, I'm not paying 100,000 and over.
Right.
You understand? Then I say, okay, I didn't know we were going to pay this because you come today, this is the amount. You come tomorrow, this is the amount. So you leave the containers there. And the value for those items in the container, because you're not able to clear, government will have to auction it.
Right.
But government is not going to get the actual value that he was supposed to have gotten if I was clearing it ordinarily. So government actually loses some bit of cash over there. That is why we are actually calling that these guys are actually taking a lot of money because of procedural and systematic issues that is going on at the port. So we need to actually take a very good care of it. Otherwise, this demurrage payment is going to dwindle our business.
All right. At the recently held forum by the Ghana Shippers Authority, you told importers to be smart.
Sure.
What do you mean by that?
All right. So it is always important for communication to be done between the importer and then the freight forwarder. All right. So, you know, nowadays...
Okay. Before you continue,
right.
let me activate the phone lines. I've been told by the production team that we can activate the phone lines right away. And so the number to dial is 020-552-8353. 020-552-8353. You can call in and contribute to the discussion. I think we already have a caller. Good evening, sir.
How are you, sir?
I'm well. Can you speak up? I can't... we can hear you well. Can you speak up, please?
My name is Mohammed calling for Shama.
Ashaiman, yes, please, Flo.
Thank you for the CEO of the gift saying. Let me end of him like, if less, more will divide. If more, less will divide. In our port now. He was saying something about the duty. Today, it will be tested. Tomorrow, it will be tested. This is why. Why that is causing our port now. 2, our shipping line charges. Why shipping lines are not using the same dollar rate? Every shipping line using different dollar rate. Why? 3, concerning about the demurrage. The demurrage are killing the importers. seriously. A shipping line will give you a demurrage in dollar for you to pay. Calculate the demurrage in dollar for you to pay. What about you are using in cities in Ghana? Why, boss? So the CEO for Give President, thank him about the issue that he raised. May God bless him. Thank you, boss.
Thank you very much indeed. We are grateful to you for calling in from Ashaiman. Quite vocal there. You can also call the number to dial is 02055285353. You can call in and contribute to the discussion. Yes, smart importer.
Yes, so I was saying that, you see, now we have smartphones, all right? So we expect that these importers will actually, this time around, some of the shipping lines have deployed, portals that we can actually check real-time tracking and tracing when the containers will arrive, okay? So they can actually also check when the containers are arriving, because the booking numbers and the container numbers are sometimes given to them by the shippers. So you'll be checking and then actually communicating to your freight forwarder, hey, we are actually expecting our containers somewhere in next week. So let us prepare a correct plan of clearance, so that just on arrival we'll be able to clear from port. We also said that importers can also walk to our secretariat and then check out credible freight forwarders who they can clear their consignments with. Okay, we have reports most of the time, and when we are solving it, we realize they meet them, some under the trees, some they just place a phone call. This is not helping, all right? If you're not careful, you end up your time will be wasted, and then the cargo will actually run into demurrage. We've also deployed or launched our websites, Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. Okay, so importers can actually roll on. When we went to the seminar, I actually gave it to them that if you want to check, you can check. You see the credible ones, choose from them, and then you make your business with them. They can also explore other regimes. It is not always that when you bring your goods, you have to pay duty. All right, the chairman of Suspense Regimes was there. He attested to that fact, that they are also there. If anytime you bring your goods, you don't have enough funds, don't waste time. But it all boils down to competent freight forwarders who will give you all this advice. And I'm telling you, the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders have actually upskill our members, most of our members. So they will give you all these advices. Then you can take advantage of some of these regimes in order not for you to run into demurrage. Yes, and then one last one that I want to say. This is a personal advice to importers. Okay, so the system that has been designed now for us to clear with, okay, it is not like the old system. It is a robust system. Okay, if you're not careful, sometimes they meet you, they give you a copy bill of lading. They will meet another agent, they give him or her a copy bill of lading. They are shopping among agents. So there are times when they put all the bill of lading into the system, and then if you're not careful, you can do what we call manifest matching. At the time when you have paid your duty, you want to match, manifest, and clear. You cannot do it because it will block. Same bill of lading cannot pass through the system. Then before you settle or resolve this issue, it will take like one week, 2 weeks, and you will be stranded. So we advise that they shouldn't be shopping around. They should just walk to our offices, check on our website, and then they will have credible agents to work with.
Okay. All right, so let me welcome Richard from Cape Coast onto the program. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, please flow.
I want to commend Romeo for the good work that he is doing. In fact, I'm also an exporter, but look.
Hello, Richard.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, Richard, please.
I want to commend Romeo for the good job he is doing. And I'll be happy if I can get his number, because I'm also an exporter. I do, face the challenge of the demurrage. That was this particular year. I was doing shipping somewhere in July. And the amount of money that I paid for the demurrage, in fact, it was too much for me. I nearly stopped doing the shipping, but I managed to do the shipping. But I want to get the number from, Romeo. Can he even call out his number to me?
All right. The production team don't drop the line. The production team would give it to you behind the scenes. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much, Richard. So you can also call 02055285353. And we would deal with them. I think we have some messages here. This one says the lines are not being fair with us in the sense that our neighboring countries are giving 18 to 21 demurrage free days, and the Shippers Authority is to check all this. My name is Cephas from Tema. One of the best ways to control the USD is to encourage local producers. GUTA should champion this agenda. Like the president said, we should cut down importation, especially rice, cooking oil, sugar, and others. Ohima in Tema says, good evening, Ohima. She's one of our regular testers. She says, good evening, Iron Port. I dare say demurrage is a business model to the shipping lines as they are really cashing in a lot of money. Most of the shipping lines have found ways of making release procedures cumbersome, consuming the meager free days of the trader in the process. The sad reality is that the Ministry of Transport have shown no commitment whatsoever to help bring sanity to the sickening situation. That's Ohima who sent this one all the way in Tema. She's one of our regular texters. And one says, my name is Lawrence. Our guest from GIF has encouraged us to go to their office so they can help us with competent freight forwarders to help clear our goods. That's fine, but I want to find out what kind of confidence can agents within the association have that they will equally stand a chance at getting clients who come to GIF. Can you answer that?
If you can read the question again, please.
He says, my name is Lawrence. Our guest from GIF has encouraged us to go to their office so they can help us with competent freight forwarders to help clear our goods. That's fine, but I want to find out what kind of confidence can agents within the association have that they will equally stand a chance at getting clients who come to GIF.
Of course, most agents have their own clients already, okay? Like I said, there are clients who actually come to the ports. Some have actually met me several times.
Right.
They meet me, I direct them to the secretariat, and then I advise them, all right? So it is not as if all importers are going to the secretariat.
Right.
Okay. But those who are first time, they don't really know where to go and all that. They go to the secretariat.
Right.
Based on what they want to do, the secretariat will actually call the technical committee or the monitoring committee, and then the advice will be given. Based on that, we know those who actually clear, DG goods, containerized cargo, homogeneous goods, so we can advise the importer so not to make any mistake and create delayances. So that is what we mean.
Okay, I think with respect to our earlier discussion, some messages have also come through. This one says, in fact, I love your submission, but closing the shops was uncomfortable for the people because of the economy of the country. This one is by David Nako. I think the best way is to apply Rawlings's principle about the economy. This one says, my name is Cephas from Tema. One of the best ways to control the USD is to encourage local producers. Okay, I think I've taken that already. This one says, I'm really surprised GUTA man said he's happy fixing the exchange rate for 3 months without any paperwork. So what happens after 3 months? Come back to square one? He asks. Okay. All right. So I understand we have someone in the phone lines. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Please, shoot. Go ahead.
My name is Florence. I want to talk about the shipping line charges. Comparing to, example, PIL and PIL and CMA, their charges is very high.
PIL and CMA, CGM. Okay.
It's very high. So assuming somebody gives you a work, and then maybe 2 containers, he gives one to somebody's from Costco, and then the other one is from CMA or PIL. When you charge high, they say you charge high. So I want to know why the shipping lines are charging differently. But I can know they all come with one vessel.
Right.
And then 2, talking of the 21 days, I want them to help us. The 21 days, sometimes even there is holidays. It's included. Saturday and Sunday is included. So even if you take those days from it, it's like 14 days or 16 days. But here comes the case. The shipping lines don't work on Saturdays and Sunday. But it's included in the 21 days. So if they would do it 21 days working day, excluding Saturdays and Sunday and holidays.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Florence. I think you have a point.
Sure.
Can you respond?
Yes, please. Yes. So with the shipping lines charging differently, all right, this is where the Ghana Shippers Authority comes in. They are supposed to regulate all their charges. Okay, I think the LI 2190 Regulation 5, Section 13, talks about it. That, hey, I mean, every new charge that you want to introduce, you have to negotiate it with the shipping line, with the Ghana Shippers Authority. But these guys are not doing it, which is very, very important that we look at it. In fact, relevant state institutions who are supposed to regulate these guys are supposed to rise up and do their best. Like she's saying, you paying 10,000 and over, and these are lines that, you know, their services does not correspond with the monies that they are taking.
No value for money.
Exactly. You go to them, some of them are still doing manual releases in this digital generation. All right? You go there and, like Paulina said, you know, you have to go and request for invoice. When you have the invoice, they direct you to the bank to go and pay. After paying, you have to wait for the payment to be prompted in their system before you put in another request for release. All these are calculated to delay you. Because the more you delay, you are charged, and they will be laughing to the bank. You understand? So we will go to appeal to Ghana Shippers Authority to make sure they are the police in our industry.
Hold your fire. Let me pick another caller. Good evening.
Yeah, James is my name. I think I want to make some contribution to this, what my colleague is saying.
Right.
You know, it is not only the shipping lines, and I think the FH, we are also having the same problem. So GIFs will also get up and then look at this. You see, the other day, a friend of mine imported some things through the Harbour, and then just about 20 kg.
Right.
He's supposed to go and pay almost about 3,500 Ghana. I think it is too much. That is about handling charges. I'm talking about handling charges. So they should also look at it. GIFs should also stand and then control the rate at which the consolidated companies have been charging.
Right.
You see, sometimes it also makes the importers relax because they don't have money to pay for the handling charges. Because imagine if I bring in 20 kilos or 30 kilos, and then you ask me to go and pay about 3,000 or 4,000. How much am I going to pay for the duty? Then that would delay, and then the demurrage will also come.
Right.
So they should also look at the consolidated companies also.
All right,
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you very much, James, who called us all the way from Santa Maria. We're grateful to you. That's the last caller, indeed, for this particular program tonight. And Romeo, you were on the Ghana Shippers Authority.
Yes, so I was saying that they are police in the shipping industry, and they are supposed to do well. You know, one of the things that they did was, in fairness to them, was the sensitization they did, you know, advising and their presentations for demurrage to be actually mitigated. But what they can also do, if these shipping lines are not respecting them enough, they can take legal actions because it is part of their ally. They can do it. They've done it before. So they shouldn't sit down because traders are actually going through a lot.
Absolutely.
Which is very, very bad. If they don't come again, how are you going to receive your 9 cedis?
Yeah.
I hope you understand. So whilst they are paying these monies to you, we should wake up, make sure these shipping lines conform to the laws of the states.
Great. Just in 2 minutes or in 1.5 minutes, tell us what role ICOMS and customs can play to help importers avoid demurrage.
All right, so let me begin with ICOMS. Okay, of course, ICOMS, the system deployed, we are actually doing so well, and then in terms of digitization and then processing our document. Okay, but one anomaly we've checked out, which we have informed them, they're in the process of working it out, is the ETA that is recorded in the system. The ETA, that is estimated time of arrival. Okay, the shipping lines leverage on that. All right, I have some exhibits here where the ETA actually was 21st June, but the actual ETA on the shipping lines portal was somewhere the next month, July 21st.
Right.
So we expect that when they put in the ETA, as and when it changes, they should also update the system for us. So that, I mean, there wouldn't be any confusion because the lines will refer you to the ETA in the system, which is wrong. Right. Now, customs. Customs is also doing well. You know, they have done well to actually, take away some unnecessary interventions. This is my appeal. All right.
Quickly.
Sorry, about 2 weeks ago, we had this blocking, get out issues. All right. We expect that the system design should actually, take out all or automatically release all these documents. It can, we can do it. It is something that we can do. And then also, UCL. just last Friday, we had it that, I mean, the process which has been designed in the system has now been taken out.
Right.
We are pleading with the minister, we are pleading with GRE, that instead of writing letters through customs to the ministry, they should revert back to we putting a request in the system for UCL to be approved for us.
Yeah.
It is really important. So we expect that they do this for us in order not to delay our processes. This is a personal appeal to the Commissioner General.
Okay, this one says shipping lines have different exchange rates they use to charge their demurrage charges. And Cephas from Tema says shipping lines have different, okay, I think it's the same text message that has come through. We'll say very big thank you to you. Romeo Frimpong from the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders gave his co-chairman of the GIF monitoring team. We've been discussing how to avoid or reduce demurrage, container demurrage in our ports. We'd like to say a big thank you to our sponsors, Ghana Revenue Authority, Goel Company Limited, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, and indeed Meridian Port Services. Remember, the show is proudly powered by the Ghana Port and Harbours Authority. God willing, next week we shall bounce back with another wonderful edition of the show. But remember to watch the upgrade version on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. on Ghana Television. My name is Kennedy Mona. God willing, we shall bounce back again next week with another show. We'll wish a super week ahead, and I say good evening.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring.